Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're bringing another great game of CEDH. As you might have guessed by the title, today we decided no stacks, and instead are bringing out the combo decks. And boy was it refreshing. But before I get into the deck techs, I wanted to let my viewers know about a new tool for all those that play Commander online. Ever wanted to get a Commander pod in on spelltable but couldn't find enough players? Missing that last one player to fire a game on your Discord server? Well, try mtg Matchmaker, the first cross-server webcam mtg matchmaking Discord bot. Unlike other similar bots and paid services, mtg Matchmaker queues Commander players across all installed Discord servers, so you can keep your Discord community while connecting with other players from others. With the launch of version 1.0, mtg Matchmaker has officially left beta, and is continually being updated with new features. To learn more, check out the quick start guide that I'll have linked in the description of the video, and start queuing up. Also, if you're interested in playing with us, hop on our Discord. We have an ever-growing community and would love to talk MTG or whatever strikes your fantasy. And another benefit is we often let people know when we play, and would love to meet some new people. But now on to that sweet intro. Alright, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board. First up, we have Lutz, piloting his Kraum Tevesh deck. This Grixis combo is more of a mid-range version of an naus Thrasios consultation deck. It uses cheap interaction to slow the game down, so he can drop either one of his commanders and really start grinding that value. Next up, we have Jimmy, who has brought Tasigur. This deck seeks to control the game with early card interaction and disruption until the late game, where it can safely stick a combo after outvaluing its opponents. In the third slot, we have Hidden and his Animar list, which he has recently retuned to be Harvest Animar. This creature-based combo deck aims to utilize Animar's cost reduction ability to cheat mana and assemble a few different combos to take his opponents out. And bringing up the rear, we have Fernando, who's playing Armix Kraum. This is a Bolus Citadel ad nauseam Grixis list. Fernando is using the list created by Eagle and featured on CEDH YouTube's channel. So if it looks interesting, I'll have it linked down below. But without further ado, let's get on to the gameplay. Pre-game. Hidden actually has a pre-game effect, as he puts a Gemstone Cavern into play with a luck counter, and exiles a Utopia Sprawl, and lets Lutz begin his turn 1. Lutz starts the game off proper with a Polluted Delta, to which he cracks for an Underground Sea and passes to Jimmy while he searches. Jimmy also has an Underground Sea, but doesn't have anything, and at his end step, Hidden casts a Mystical Tutor to find a weird harvest to put on top. On Hidden's upkeep, Jimmy decides that he wants to foil Hidden's tutor, so he casts a Thought Scour to mill the top 2 of Hidden's library, while drawing a card himself. Hidden draws for turn and plays an Exotic Orchard as land. He taps out to cast the Priest of Titania. Fernando has an untapped Training Grounds, which he uses to cast a Goblin Welder. Responding to this, Lutz casts a Mystical Tutor of his own and grabs a Demonic Consultation. Lutz draws the consult and plays and fetches a Wooded Foothills to go and get a Volcanic Island. Shortcutting, he casts a Talisman of Indulgence. Jimmy plays a Waterlogged Grove as land and casts a Demonic Tutor. He finds a card, and Lutz then realizes he should have grabbed a Vamp Tutor instead of a Demonic.
Damn it. I should have got a Vamp Tutor.
You should be
now that I'm thinking about it.
Hidden cracks a Scalding Tarn to find a tropical island. He casts Animar and finishes his turn by casting an Elvish Mystic, with Animar getting a counter. Fernando decides to copy Lutz as he plays and cracks a Polluted Delta for an Underground Sea, and uses it to cast a Talisman of Indulgence. Lutz has a fast turn, just playing a command tower. Jimmy plays a Cephalid Colosseum and casts a Dark Confidant, hoping to start grinding that card advantage. Hidden doesn't like the card he drew as he taps his Trop for a green before sacrificing it to a crop rotation to find a Gaia's Cradle. He decides he needs to use his mana and taps out to cast a Walking Ballista where X equals 4. With that out of the way, the last thing on his list to do is to swing Animar at Lutz, who takes 3. Fernando shocks into Steam Vents and casts a Dockside Extortionist. Lutz responds to the ETB with a Limb Duel's Volt, but Jimmy doesn't want him finding Thassa's Oracle and counters it with a Swan Song. The Dockside ETB happens and Fernando gains 2 treasures, but decides to just leave mana open. Lutz plays an exotic orchard and then casts a dockside of his own. No one sacks any artifacts, and Lutz gains 4 treasures. He uses all of those treasures to power out a Tevesh Sot. It resolves, and he +2s him to create 2 thralls. And at his end step, Hidden removes a counter from the ballista and kills Jimmy's Dark Confidant. Jimmy starts off by cracking a bloodstained mire. He finds a bayou and then delves away 3 cards to cast his commander, Tasigur. Hidden casts a generous patron. He supports onto Fernando's dockside and one of Lutz's thralls to draw 2 cards. He plays a polluted delta as land and then tries to evoke a Slither Muse. Fernando responds with a brainstorm to draw 3 and put 2 back, and still with the evoke trigger on the stack, Lutz pyroblasts Animar. Hidden then draws 4 cards and debates what to do. Hidden taps his cradle and uses it to cast a Toski, Bearer of Secrets. He then cracks the delta and bolts himself to find an untapped steam vents. He uses it to cast the 3rd dockside of the game.
Okay, I'm so left out.
First up to respond is Fernando, who cracks 1 treasure to float a blue, and Hidden ends up with 3 treasures of his own. Hidden wants to move to combat, but Fernando still has mana floating, which he uses to cast a Brain Freeze. He gets a total of 7 instances, but Hidden responds by killing the Goblin Tinkerer with the Walking Ballista before Fernando can mill all those cards. The Brain Freeze then resolves and he mills 21 cards. Fernando plays a Badlands and decides to flash back a milled Faithless Looting. He draws 2 and discards 2 before casting another Talisman, this one being of Dominance. Lutz starts off by +1ing Tevesh to sack the unbuffed Thrall to draw 2 cards. He plays a Spire of Industry as land and casts a Jessica's Will. It resolves and Lutz gains 5 red and exiles the top 3 of his library.
Ooh.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Yay.
That absolute gas! Using most of the red, he casts Kraum before heading to combat. He swings the hasty Kraum and the bird at Fernando, who takes 6. And at his end step, Jimmy casts a Chain of Vapor to bounce the Kraum. Lutz chooses to sack his Spire to copy the spell and bounce his own dockside. Seeing all that mana he could generate with it, Hidden responds by first sacrificing a treasure, which along with the priest gives him enough mana to add a counter to the ballista, to which he promptly removes 2 counters to take the dockside out and fizzle the chain. Jimmy just heads straight to combat and swings Tasigur at Tevesh Sot. Lutz chumps with the bird, and on his second main, Jimmy decides it's now or never.
Is it time?
Are you going for it?
Probably not. Probably not. It's probably not time.
You know what? I feel lucky this time.
He casts a Thassa's Oracle, and it resolves. Holding priority, Jimmy responds to the ETB with a Demonic Consultation. Both Hidden and Fernando don't have a response, but luckily for the table, Lutz does, although he's not too happy about it.
Puts the late
What a terrible fucking round for me. I get gutted, and then I have to use my interaction to save the table.
Jimmy then rearranges the top of his library and hands the turn over to Hidden. Hidden plays a Volcanic Island and then heads to combat. He mainly disregards the Tevesh, only swinging 1 at the Planeswalker while smacking Lutz for 4. He draws 4 in the process as well. On his second main, Hidden recasts his Animar. He has a floating green, which he uses to cast the Phantasmal Image, gaining him the 4th dockside of the game. He gains 4 treasures, putting him up to a total of 6, and he finishes his turn with a Bloom Tender. Fernando starts off his turn with a Jessica's Will, gaining him 5 red. He uses 4 of it and casts a Peer into the Abyss. Both Lutz and Jimmy pass priority, but Hidden responds with a Deflecting Swat to let him draw instead. The retargeted Peer resolves, and Hidden draws 36 cards and loses 19 life. But while Hidden is drawing, Fernando reveals something important.
It's gonna be relevant.
I gotta show it just for the video. The other card in my hand.
Lutz starts off by sacrificing the bird to Tevesh to draw 2. He knows the game is over if it gets back to Hidden's turn and decides to go for it. He casts an Underworld Breach, but Hidden doesn't want that to happen as he attempts to Swan Song it. The Swan Song resolves and Lutz gains another bird. Really knowing it's the end, Lutz casts a Final Fortune, but before he goes to his extra turn, Lutz also casts a Vampiric Tutor. He finds a card and then untaps and draws it. He starts off his extra turn by plushing Tevesh Sot to try and sacrifice the bird to draw. However, Hidden has a response this time. He missed it when looking through his hand earlier, but realized he had a Hull Breacher, and sacrifices a treasure to flash it in. Not letting this setback phase him though, Lutz casts a Mnemonic Betrayal, but Hidden still has quite the grip of cards and responds with a Flusterstorm with Storm Count 3. But Lutz still has a Demonic Consultation he tutored for at the start of the game. Knowing that this is the last hurdle he needs to overcome, Hidden casts a Fierce Guardianship to dash the last of Lutz's hope. And with that, Lutz passes to his end step and loses the game.
Yeah, so I die to Final Fortune. And let me see if I would have drew any interaction. Oh my god, I would have drew Flusterstorm and Deflecting Swat.
I mean, it was a good thing you didn't name Flusterstorm.
Oh my
Jimmy,
god! I would have had it! With
That was a nice try, though.
Before that though, on Lutz's end step, Jimmy casts a Force of Vigor to blow up Hidden's Ballista and a treasure, to which Hidden responds by pinging Jimmy for 1 and cracking the treasure for a green, which he uses for a Worldly Tutor to find an ancestral statue. Jimmy draws and casts an Imperial Seal to search out a card, but hands the turn to Hidden as he searches. Hidden, knowing his time has come, plays a command tower as land and then casts a Tutored Ancestral. Jimmy uses the last of his tricks and responds with an Unsubstantiate on the Animar, but Hidden puts a stop to that with a Veil of Summer, and the rest of the table then concedes. Game review. Man, that was a fun game to play in. It was close for most of it, but definitely the tipping point of the game was of course the Deflecting Swat from Hidden. That Peer to the Abyss just drew him way too many cards, and it just put a countdown timer on the game. I know some of our viewers might be wondering why Fernando didn't just cast the Ad Naus instead. Well, if you've watched the last few of our videos, you'll know that people keep dying to Ad Naus, and while he was at 30 life, he was worried that he would be the same. Or worse, he would draw a bunch of cards, but then just be killed as he couldn't combo off. Also, I know someone's going to point it out or ask why it was weird that Hidden let Lutz resolve the Final Fortune. But Hidden did admit that he had thought Lutz was just fishing for something, and since he didn't have many cards left in his hand, that he would just fizzle out, and Hidden wouldn't have needed to stop him. Although that ended up proving more troublesome. It definitely was refreshing though to not play against heavy stacks in this game. I know it can be effective, but man, is it a drag when the game just keeps going on and on. But let me know how you feel. Are you a stacks lover, or is that combo game just too strong for you to resist? Let me know in the comments down below. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you know that we have a TCG affiliate link, and if you ever see a card you want to try or are inspired to brew something new, use our link when purchasing and we'll receive a small portion of the sale. This is a great way to support the channel, and if you enjoyed the gameplay, please leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps us keep making videos. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.